So if I do leave in that,
Yep, that's fine.
yeah, just keep talking.
Okay, I'll
Because
do
you
my
can look
best.
at me or you can look at the camera.
Yeah.
We are not. It's not one of those podcasts where it's like you can't break the fourth wall.
Okay, cool.
Because I'll still like greet everyone like that. Ready?
Yeah.
Right. Hi everyone, welcome to the A.I.R podcast. So A.I.R, where we live and breathe creativity to spread to everyone. Today I have a really special guest, friend, and I guess co-filmmaker?
Yeah, of course.
We worked together before, collaborator. So we have Harry,
Hello.
who's filmmaker, a writer, and also a lecturer. So yeah, did I get that correct?
Yeah, you've done great, thank you.
Right, so just to give you a big roundup of what Harry does, here's a quick little show reel of what he does.
I'm sorry I missed the service. I'm sure you did great.
Yeah? Well, I choked. I couldn't do the speech. You're the oldest. It should have been you.
It was probably better this way. You were her favorite. I was the unplanned one, the mistake, the big disappointment. Oh, see? She agrees with me.
I found this in her desk.
This is the band I was in when I dropped out of college. She hated it. Why would she keep it?
She wrote out all the lyrics.
I know it'll be long distance, but it's not like I'm moving to the other side of the world.
Please, let's not do this tonight.
We're so good together, and it's only 2 years until uni. We've already planned this.
We haven't even been together a year yet. I don't know if we can manage 2 years apart. We're 16.
Hey guys, what's up? Waiting for your dates or?
This is my date.
Oh, sorry. 2 secs, just need to swap a battery.
So what? This just doesn't mean anything to you?
Of course not, Henry. I wanted us to have the perfect night. If you weren't moving, or if this was 10 years from now, then...
Drug Kenneth.
Okay, Mebian. In Kinza, Hayden, Grau Gwellis was a class. Rau Kemin Ragoch, Sehikain, Wargano. In Le Wardo, Stevalilo.
Stephen, blevin safe, you cost an S.
Grinny does Diski and Trua's breast and say the new passes. Furvok linen, Adal and Ale, Agila.
So yeah, that's a quick rundown of what Harry does. Would you like to introduce yourself in your own words?
Yeah, so I am a queer writer-director based in Southwest, actually between Devon and Cornwall right now. And I've just started lecturing at Falmouth, which is where I studied, where you studied.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. Yes, I am consistently navigating between teaching, education, but also working on my own work and working to kind of create more work down here in the Southwest.
Yeah, because that's how we kind of knew each other, because we never actually met at uni, even though I think we were during the same year.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's been a long time since I graduated from here. I think it's been about 12 years since I started attending here now, which is crazy. But yeah, when I started my first film project, King Henry, which was just after kind of COVID time, so 2022, I think.
Yeah, I think I just finished first year.
Yeah, so like, I knew people down here, like I maintained connections with people who obviously lecture on the course still. So I came to a graduate showcase of the third years at the time, and it's where I met one of the founders of the company that we founded called Film Ancoth, Jake Waters, and kind of from then I consistently worked with kind of students, graduates of Falmouth, and the places that I worked before Falmouth as well to kind of, kind of grow a community down here.
I mean, that's how we met in I did one of your projects, basically.
Yes, you did. So you worked on Jockstrap with me, which was amazing. It was good to have you on set with that. And yeah, it was good to finally work with you, because I'd heard a lot about what you do down here in the Southwest, your post-production.
I don't actually know what people say, but like...
It was always good stuff. Yeah.
So obviously, same thing. I heard of you.
Yeah.
You make stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, what was it? I forgot who. I think it was Henry or whoever. Just message, connect.
Yeah.
I think I got your number somewhere.
Yeah. I think that there's something that I remember being a very anxious teenager and early 20s person. And now I'm very much like, if I want to connect with someone, I will send them a message. And if they don't reply, they don't reply.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like less worried about.
I think it took me a while just to build up.
Yeah.
Because I had a call with someone, very random, from Singapore.
Yeah.
Someone just messaged, like, he was from my church back then.
Yeah.
He helped out. Don't know him. He was in the UK. He's now traveling, filming.
Yeah.
Just dropped him a message.
Yeah.
Worst they can say is no.
Yeah, exactly. Or, well, worst they can say is no, or they can just not see it or blank you. And like, those things happen. And do you know what I mean? Often I find that I will connect with people and then it won't necessarily be right in that moment, but down the line it will be like, do you know what I mean, 3 years later.
at least they remember.
Yeah.
Like, I would just pretend maybe something happened and the message didn't send through.
Yeah,
that's my way of like.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, and I think I only when I kind of started King Henry, I was like, actually, you only really get what you ask for.
Yeah.
So I've started to kind of be a bit more vocal about what I would like to do and kind of put out in the world.
Just ask, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the first time we connected was, so I messaged you before.
Yeah.
I think I went to your screening.
Yes, you did. You came to the Ancoth screening, didn't you?
So a bit about Film Ancoth, that's the company that you made.
Yeah, so it's
with JT?
JT and Nat, who are kind of my closest collaborators. So Nat Wilcox, I studied at Falmouth with, so I met her during the Masters. And she kind of was very confident as a writer-director at that point. And when I met her, I was kind of more in academia and in journalism at that point, and doing a bit of sound recording. And then kind of life got in the way post-graduation. I went and did a year abroad. So I worked in Florida, in America, for a year. COVID sent me home, and then I got into teaching, and then Nat wrote my first film, King Henry, based on my experience, and then she asked me to direct it. So that's kind of like where Ancoth started. We all worked on King Henry together, and we were like, we want to keep making stuff. We want to make content which is queer, and also focus on kind of the on-set production kind of atmosphere.
And then you had JT, who normally produces as well.
Yeah, so I actually met JT when he was a script supervisor. So he was script supervisor on King Henry, and then we went for Screen Cornwall and Cornwall Council funding for my second short, Limp, which was in the Cornish language, and he was on as producer for that. but he's in the world of TV right now, so I've not seen him in a bit.
Yeah.
But he's doing great things. But yeah, we still kind of are bubbling along as Phil Mankoff, kind of trying to support other voices in the Southwest.
I mean, his name still lingers because B-Girl shared an office with FFP Media, which is a German company, and
Yeah.
JT works there.
Yeah, he did.
So his name still lingers there in good names.
Good, that's good to hear. I'm sure he'll be grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Phil Mankoff for me, so Ankoff is Cornish for strange and unusual.
Okay.
In the same way that kind of queer used to be known as if you were strange and like odd behaviour. So it's kind of a reclamation of that, and I wanted to give the kind of, I mean, like we wanted to give a voice to queer voices down in the Southwest because most of the queer content I saw growing up, so lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender plus content was very around cities and kind of metropolises. And the kind of the focus on Phil Mankoff is bringing the voices out of these kind of rural counties. And yeah, making stories from that.
What's it like different? Because I don't know anything
Yeah.
about that field of like filming and stuff. Because I think it sounds bad. I grew up watching just mostly blockbusters.
No, that's fair. I mean, I did too.
Like, then you kind of have a niche of where you like to go after that.
Yeah.
So what films are there like? How different are they like? What stories they tell?
So for me, it's interesting. At the moment, I'm looking into is there a difference between LGBT plus cinema and queer cinema, which is a whole nother topic. The idea behind that is LGBT cinema is made for a kind of mainstream audience, whereas queer cinema is kind of away from that. So the films that I'm interested in at the moment you kind of operate around European countries, so Polish cinema, Czech cinema. South America, quite a few kind of interesting queer films coming out of that space. For me, again, distinguishing this is very difficult, and it's something that I'm kind of negotiating at the same time, is about the authenticity of that, which again is a debatable term, and is thrown around quite a bit. For me, it's about queer people behind the camera writing stories to then tell stories that are about them. So usually, yes, that kind of operates around people who, have a sexuality away from heterosexual, or have a gender identity which is not cisgender, so not with the kind of the gender they were assigned at birth. And it kind of operates around that, but I would say that it's a really broad spectrum of stuff, and that queer cinema is one of those things that if you try and define it, it kind of makes it redundant as well, because it's such a vast thing.
But it's also like, because you know it, so you can actually see it on screen. Whereas probably if I watch it, I probably wouldn't know because it would just fly by me.
And like for me, it's about human stories and kind of. So yes, it is about people who have similar experiences to myself, or kind of similar experiences to myself. But the humanness is kind of the key there, and I think that is hopefully something that is identifiable through the 3 films that I've made and the future work that I will make. Is that it's about people and about kind of the effect that kind of looking through a queer lens has on everyone's life. Like when we worked on Jockstrap together, like Jockstrap is a film about kind of finding yourself and being comfortable in your sexuality. Yeah. Yes, it's about a gay man, but I think everyone can identify with that kind of the comfort of kind of being in your own body and those sorts of things. So I think, yeah,
because it wouldn't. I didn't know like the visual purpose of Jockstrap until you and Luke told me.
Yeah.
To me, but like if I just read it, it's like, oh, it's just a normal guy comfortable wearing what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, so
something in that way.
That is the basis of it. But in terms of Jockstrap, which was kind of like a test for me, Winston, where I wanted to see what I could do with little. It's something that I completely self-funded, and it kind of speaks to where I want my work to go next, which everything I'd done before Jockstrap was King Henry, which is kind of a coming-of-age 16-year-old basis story, and Limp, which is actually younger than that. It's a 13-year-old character. Both kind of autobiographical. Jockstrap kind of autobiographical, but thinking about what I want to move into kind of more older kind of storytelling about kind of where I'm at now as a 30-something-year-old.
Are they different, like between the new films happening versus the old films before?
In terms of, as in like Jockstrap versus King Henry and kind of those sorts of
Or
things.
like your inspiration when you grew up? Is there any evolution to it?
Yeah, so I feel like it's weird. Looking back on King Henry now, I think that it is very, safe is the wrong word, but it's very kind of mainstream queer storytelling. It's about a coming out story, which is kind of like when people think of queer cinema, they think about coming out. Or noticing that you're different, those sorts of things. Whereas I think Jockstrap is more of a, okay, but what does that look like beyond that moment? And then I think with the shorts that I'm looking at now, so I'm writing a short at the moment and writing a feature at the moment, and those are more about actually being an adult queer person and trying to navigate that when you are out, and I think that that's what makes it interesting, is that regardless of whether you are part of the community or you're an ally, you're still living and you're still working out where you fit in and you're navigating those things.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's about not necessarily moving away from those things, but thinking actually, where are these people now, and making stories that I would like to watch now.
Because it's not focused on the main coming out. It's like every day still everyone's still living their life some way.
Yeah, I love stories that are on about the kind of the light and dark of day to day. So I like stuff that is very kind of drama based and very contained. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm trying to write now, is something within that space.
How did you develop so much into writing? Was this something you always wanted to do, or like?
No. So yeah, through university, I was very focused on maybe keeping away from talking about the things that I probably make now. I think so. I came out at 15. So King Henry is based on my experience at prom at 15. So I came out, and then it was kind of like received in the school at that time. And I think I had this really like black and white impression of what that meant, of like, well, I'm out now and that's done. And I think in reality there's a lot more to unpick. So I was nervous to do that, and I was quite scared to do that. As I said a moment ago, very anxious teen, very kind of, my mental health was pretty poor in my early 20s. I look at the students that I teach now, and I think like I would love to do the degree again, thinking of kind of my mindset now is a bit more like proactive, and whereas then I was like, how can I get through this, and not really making the most of the experience. So focusing on assessment rather than like the connections you make beyond. So for me, I chose routes where I didn't have to talk to people, or do you know what I mean? I kept to my own. Almost, so like...
Or once you have the group, you just stay in.
Yeah, kind of, I didn't really challenge myself. I did well, but I felt like I did well within academia kind of routes and journalist routes, because there was a journalism kind of derivative of the course at that point. But yeah, it was only really when I turned 26 that Nat gave me the short to direct, and I was like, okay, what would this look like? And that kind of was around the same time that I started teaching. So I had massive confidence kind of building from that. And also I had done like 2 years of research into what the effect of representations of LGBT plus and queer representations in the media had on people. So I used to run a podcast where I would interview people about the kind of characters they saw on screen and how that affected them. So I always felt like I was going to be responding to media, not creating media. But when I kind of got that green light from that, I was like, actually, I could be the one that is creating representations on the screen and telling stories that that I think need to be heard from multiple people. So whether they're my stories, or whether I'm supporting Nat and Jake by making their stories, or like wider when we get people coming in to film Mancoth who we support to make their work too.
Yeah, because I guess, did it help that the master's course isn't that big, so you just have a nice, closer way to build up to it, or was it?
Yeah, so
What changed for you? Just like, let's do it. kind of thing?
so on my masters, Nat and I just like stuck together really early, and it was lovely, and I feel like we bonded over shared trauma. Let's say.
Okay.
So Nat has a similar experience at school that I did, and that's kind of why I felt really like happy that she was writing King Henry, because we had a lot of kind of common experiences around coming out and things like that. So we bonded over that. I've always thought Nat is incredibly funny, and Nat is someone who, I look up to, and kind of has supported me in my own confidence building. So I don't know, the masters just felt a bit more. There was less of us.
Yeah.
It felt a bit more like you have 3 terms rather than 2 terms.
Yeah.
You work over the summer. I just found my people more. So I
I feel like the masters are like,
Yeah.
at least all the friends I've seen who's been doing masters,
yeah,
because it's a smaller group.
yeah.
It's not bad. Everyone's there to do the best they can anyways.
Yeah, and I think talking about kind of the academic side of the masters as well, there was a module called Cultural Studies, looking at, culture.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things we looked at started to unpick the things that I was struggling with. So
Okay.
we looked at feminism in detail. We looked at gender, race, ethnicity, and all these kind of things. And it started to give me the comfort to kind of unpick that within myself. And then that has been a journey since, is kind of unpicking those threads.
Master sounds hard to me. So
It was
It's not
hard.
mine.
Yeah, it definitely was hard. But I loved it, and I don't regret my courses at all. I know I
Yeah.
said a moment ago that I didn't really engage in my BA.
Yeah.
I loved my time still, but yeah, just looking back, I think I could have made more connections and like tried a bit harder to.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of all have a bit of that in us,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, definitely.
Like, it still turned out well for you.
Well, yeah, would I be in the same path if I had done that? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at. But I do kind of think about what it would like been like if I hadn't been so scared of technical stuff as well and things like that.
Was it hard? Like, because I know now, I think now the younger generation has more support. Was it a lot harder coming up, like, for yourself? And
So coming out for me was hard. I was outed.
Yeah.
So I came out to friends, but I was outed to my parents and kind of wider people by a circumstance. And that was difficult. Yeah, it feels better now. That I mean, I would say your age and below feel like you have a vocabulary that we didn't necessarily have.
No, because I only started learning more of these vocab when I came here.
Yeah.
And clearly, like, a lot of things are still growing more. But, like, I mean, I'm asking this because I think it helps shapes your way of, like, you developing as well, storytelling, your experience, because that's what it is, isn't it?
It is interesting, and I feel like there is a push at the moment for queer content, which is maybe more positive. And I had someone ask this about my work in general, because my work is usually quite emotional, and it's usually to do with kind of growth and kind of dealing with shame and all these other things. And I agree that there could be more positive content, and there is, luckily. But at the same point, my life experiences, and therefore I am talking from maybe a more emotional, sadder space. And I'm interested in characters that are, if I look at my work that I've done so far, the kind of identifier for it is by the end of the short or by the end of the film, my characters have either found a voice or an element of a voice. And I think about my work in kind of that sense, and it's about most of my characters start in a sense where they're like looking down and kind of trying to avert eye contact and trying to just get through. Whereas by the end of the film, I want them to be like chin up, like looking forwards and being like, okay, I am active in my life. And that's kind of the thing that I think really connects the things I do. But yeah, I think my work will always be around those sorts of feelings. And I think what's interesting, the feature I'm writing at the moment is about not necessarily external pressures of what it feels like to be queer, but actually the internal battle and the internal kind of boundaries that you set on yourself. Because I feel like as a queer individual, from my experience, your life does feel limited in a way by the fact of who you are. So we were talking earlier about kind of countries you can travel to. Like, it's my immediate thought, am I going to be safe there? As kind of other people do think for various reasons. But actually, I feel like as an individual growing up, I was also responsible for setting those boundaries as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I can't be that. Well, I can't be that. And obviously, people externally set those boundaries too. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm a lecturer right now, but I grew up in a family where it said you couldn't have an out teacher. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't.
Yeah.
So that was a boundary that was set that I kind of pushed through. But yeah, so many kind of the things where I'm like, you set your own boundaries and actually you wall yourself in, and what I try and do is like remove those walls.
Yeah.
So my main character and feature is going through a process of...
But it's like quite strategic which part you kind of like... Because it's a process of like one barrier down first and the next.
Yeah, and like where you fit in, and I feel like we often look for those places that we 100% fit in, and I don't necessarily think that exists. So where's the grey areas of that? Like, I fit in with this crowd within this situation.
Yeah.
But if we went to another place with that same crowd, I wouldn't fit in there. But that, do you know what I mean? And like working out actually where do you navigate?
No, I'm like quite a constant grey.
Yeah.
I think I just keep jumping around.
But I think that's human, and I think that's what I'm really enjoying about is working through myself and my own identity, but also through the feature and the works I'm writing is letting characters work through that grey.
Yeah, and I mean everyone will work through. Everyone has that. I mean I feel like I'm in the constant grey, but I'm like. It's not a bad thing. It's just an identity. I just embrace it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think you can. There's positiveness to it.
Yeah, no, there's so much positivity to it.
There's only, I wouldn't say it's bad or good. It's just different, I guess, in a way. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I move around a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's just normal. And I think it's just in uni, everyone moves around so much.
Yeah.
Everyone I know is not even around anymore. Not like they're like all across the country or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's why I use queer is because it's a kind of a limitless kind of term. Whereas I felt like when I came out, I stepped into kind of the gay label. And that also felt very boundaried.
But I feel like your films, if I don't understand the terms, like growing up not knowing it until you tell me, it's still like a human film. With like, I guess that relatability that anyone in queer would understand more of. Yeah. Like, to me, it's like, it's a nice, heartfelt film. In a way.
Well, I mean, hopefully that's the way it comes across because, do you know what I mean? I'm trying to show human characters, do you know what I mean? And the good and the bad and the grey areas, as we say. So.
Yeah, because it doesn't always have to be happy all the time. There always has to be.
And there is a time and a place for happy content.
Yeah.
I don't think I will make something that is... I watched a rom-com the other day, for instance, and I was like, this is lovely, this is a gay rom-com. I know I will not make something like this. Do you know what I mean? It's also interesting watching other work being made around and being like, that's where this fits in with me, but I wouldn't make that.
Have you tried doing other things? Or like, what made you realize this is probably your greatest strength? Because I've tried recreating different works, and I found that, ironically, my strongest work so far has always been something sad, emotional, or I wouldn't say messed up, but like people ask you, are you okay? Yeah. But I just embrace that kind of like, it sounds bad, I embrace that darkness.
Yeah, well I think that's what you have to do.
It's there, people need to acknowledge it, but it's also part of you that you can't let go.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say control it, but if you embrace it, it just helps you more.
Yeah, so I often think, well, maybe I should do something that's quite genre-led, or, do you know what I mean? And like those things definitely do come out when I watch stuff that I like, when I watch stuff that's getting funded as well is a big thing. But I try and like think, well, actually, am I losing my voice through that? Am I like assimilating into something that I don't necessarily want to be, and I want to feel that kind of connection. And I think that's what's felt special about the projects that we've done under Film Mancoth so far, is there has been a connection on set about people who have, do you know what I mean, experienced something similar. King Henry obviously was the biggest. We had a documentary shot on set too, and that felt incredibly raw because everyone can kind of identify with what that feels like at 15 and 16 and saying goodbye to friends. But yeah, what I try and do is to write without filtering myself, and this is what is interesting, like writing without an audience in mind. But then thinking about, okay, actually, how do we make these things? And then it's the compromise, and you want to get funding, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's something that I'm trying to negotiate at the moment is, if I get funding, how is that going to change what I'm making? And
because now there's more people involved.
Yeah, and like an understanding kind of what that would do to the work. So yeah, it's an interesting time.
Because like, if most people who don't know film, sometimes like big projects you get investors in.
Yeah.
And like, even in blockbusters, you have like executive producers, you put money in, brands and stuff like that. But that means things will have to change because you have to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
In a certain way, like there has to be a compromise.
Well, yeah. So like, I think that's something that maybe that's why I really like the queer films I'm watching, is because that there feels like there is an author's voice, or there is like it doesn't feel like there is a studio behind them that's forced them to make a character decision.
Are they mostly indie like films?
Yes.
Are there any like mainstream ones at the moment?
Well, again, if you make it mainstream, I feel like
will it lose its like authenticity?
Maybe. I mean, there's been kind of complaints over. I mean, they tried to make a rom-com called Bros, which again didn't. Interestingly, it came out at the same time as the Blumhouse film Megan.
Okay.
Remember Megan?
I think I've heard of that one.
Chucky, but for the modern age, where it's like a robot doll.
Oh yeah.
And the gay community that I exist within were more interested in Megan, this kind of like camp representation of this doll, more than this film called Bros. I don't know. For me, I have my favourite films that kind of exist. Weekend being kind of my fave. I don't have a favourite. Do I have a favourite? But like I have a series of directors that I will go to that kind of look at the things that I'm interested in, and then what I'm trying to work out is actually you don't want to remake something, but you want to work out where your voice kind of fits in within the tapestry of stuff out there. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to do with what I'm writing next.
It's a very different word, sorry.
Yeah.
No, because my films are like very, very different.
Yeah.
What I like watching. I like watching war films.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I never really make a war film.
Yeah.
But I just like the human stories that.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting people under a situation of pressure, and then you get some really interesting human stories in there too.
Yeah.
I think there's a real kind of, again, broad spectrum of war films.
Yeah. You
can have war films that are very much about kind of patriotism.
Yeah.
Or you can have films about the individual and what that experience feels like.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of what I guess I try and do is you can have queer films.
Yeah.
Or you can have films with queer characters that feel like they are trying to champion representation, which is great, and they definitely need to exist. For me, it's more about the individual and kind of what that experience.
Then you really focus.
Yeah.
Then, because there is a lot of like, I've seen a lot of like, most of the films I see is like queer coming out.
Yeah.
Is it like, do you think there needs to be more of just people mundane stuff, or do you think it still helps because there's now more and more represented?
I feel like it definitely helps. The coming out stories that I remember consuming as a teenager were quite negative. Yeah. So people would come out and then, yes, they may be supported by a couple of people, but they went through like loads of bullying and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like previous to that, the representation I saw of kind of gayness at that time, I always kind of come back to. I don't know if you remember a program called 24.
No, probably no. I don't want that.
So 24 was like a big program for me growing up. I watched it with my brothers and my mum and dad, and it was a really interesting format. Basically, each episode is an hour, and there was 24 episodes.
Okay.
A season, and then basically it was a day in a life with a CIA agent. CIA agent? basically dealing with this like catastrophe and trying to protect the country. It's very American patriotism, kind of post 9/11. What can we do? Kind of.
Okay.
But there was a gay representation in that in like season 1, where there is a gay character. He is a sex worker, so immediately kind of looked down upon within this kind of narrative. And then within 10 minutes, he like lies and betrays the main character. And then 10 minutes later, he's dead. Do you know what I mean? So like that's kind of the gay representation I remember early. And then I moved into kind of stuff which I guess is more kind of, again, mainstream gay identity in terms of Glee and stuff, where yes, it was supportive and it was about being part of that artistic queer community.
Yeah.
But they still went through bullying and stuff.
Yeah.
So I find that coming out stories now are still needed. Obviously, I'm not at that age anymore.
Yeah, because you're not the main audience that needs to understand it.
But I still think that there's a place for that.
Yeah.
I'm interested in characters who've come out later. I think that's really interesting. I would love to see more representation of people finding themselves when they are older.
Like what's the norm? What's the age you think would be older?
I mean, most of the coming out narratives that I've seen is like teens, teen films or TV. I think there is an untapped kind of representation of older queer characters. I would love. Do you know what I mean? I'm writing a short film at the moment about a gay guy in his 60s. What does that feel like?
Especially when he's been living his life so long.
Yeah, and like he's out, but like, what does that feel like? And what does it feel like to be that age range in Cornwall in your 60s?
Okay.
And like the film is about finding community. It's a short film that I'm writing. But like I'm interested in that now, and I think because since I turned 30, I'm like I want to write characters that are from 30 up.
You basically like matured a bit more.
I'm just interested in kind of. Yeah. I'm always interested in family dynamics, friendship dynamics, relationships, and kind of the circumstances that we all deal with day to day.
Okay.
And again, I think that's super interesting.
Has that helped now that you've gone into teaching with that now? Like, because you've got all this material, you've learned, you've read. Is it different? Like, can you share this with? I mean, in university, I think you can share with students and stuff like that.
Well, this is also a thing. So I grew up under a law called Section 28, which meant that you couldn't talk about the normalisation of being gay, basically, within schools.
Okay.
And that was only repealed in 2003.
Okay.
And then, basically, from then, so in 2003, I would have been year 3, so I would have been 6 years old.
Okay.
Again, probably didn't. I knew I was different at that age, but I didn't know a way to label it.
Yeah.
Then it felt like teachers were still afraid to talk about being queer, being gay. And then basically when I got to the point that I was a teacher, I was like, well, actually, I want to talk about these things because I want to help the people that need help. Recently, given the fact that kind of there's a kind of, shall we say, fascist movement in this country and a growing homophobic presence, growing transphobic presence in this country, I feel like we're going to slip towards Section 28 again.
So it's like progressive.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And like that is naturally, sadly, how progress works, is that it's not just one road, it's like a back and forth.
No.
And I'm going to a conference in February called After Section 28, which is kind of talking about these issues. I've got a friend who's making a documentary called Don't Say Gay, which is literally kind of what, I guess, Florida in America kind of had a mandate where you couldn't say gay in schools and things like that.
Is it a satire thing, or like is it just documenting that now that the mandate's happening?
Like post Section 28 kind of environment, documentary.
See what changed, what's affected.
Yeah, and I think at that point when earlier this year I was teaching at university, but also teaching classes to 16-year-olds up.
Okay.
And when I was, so at that point I started making Jockstrap.
Yes.
So Jockstrap is like a more sexual film, let's say. Do you know what I mean? It's about kind of being intimate, and it's about kind of being intimate with your own body, and finding that kind of that power within your sexuality. I think a lot of when you come out as gay, it's not like you celebrate everything. It's not like a pride parade every day. Do you know what I mean? You still have the same issues with your body, with do you know what I mean? queer sex feels like something that there's a lot of shame around, because we're told that, do you know what I mean, sex is a biological function and equals a baby, basically. That's what my experience was like at school. But yeah, there was an element of nervousness around telling that story when I was still teaching 16-year-olds, because for many people, sexuality and gender should be an 18-plus conversation.
Yeah.
And I felt that when I came to university, even here, that all of a sudden we were talking about these things, and I was like, well, this would have been really useful to talk about when I was 14, Joey.
Yeah.
And like, so I feel very lucky now to teach at Falmouth, because one, I'm teaching film and they support practice as well, which is amazing. But also it's an 18-plus environment, and I feel there's less worry about the stuff that I am exploring.
No, because everyone here's considered an adult. The culture's different, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I was starting to feel really anxious about the stuff that I wanted to represent on screen, because, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to lose my job. That's still kind of the kind of thing of it. I didn't want to cause issues for people as well.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that I kind of had to think that, but I feel very glad that I'm now in a very like supportive environment where it is.
And obviously, now you teach at Falmouth.
Yeah.
You used to teach in Plymouth University of Arts.
Yeah.
Where that's when I actually wanted to film you all the way there.
Yeah.
Is it different though? Like, I think have they both been quite supportive?
Yeah, I think so. Arts University Plymouth is smaller.
Yeah.
It was really interesting teaching both 16 to 19-year-olds and then plus.
Yeah.
Because they don't always
different.
they don't always like sing from the same hymn sheet as well.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily always like they shouldn't as well in many ways. The funding's different.
Yeah.
All those kind of things that kind of get in the way and make things difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean, Falmouth to me is home.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in Cornwall, and do you know what I mean, the filmmaking community. There's a filmmaking community in Exeter, and I feel like I've not really engaged with that, and I think it's because I just love it down here, and I've always stayed engaged with Cornwall.
Cornwall's quite a nice community, yeah.
And I feel like that's part of the joy of it, is that I'm making stuff which is different from other lecturers. Do you know what I mean, I'm making stuff, and there's a strength to that rather than.
Yeah, because you have your genre kind of niche down, and the other lecturers also have their genres. They're all different. Like Dean with his horror.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of it. And I think we all make different work, and we're all telling different stories, or we're telling stories differently. We're all talking about human and what it is to be human. But I think that's a real strength to it, and I would not enjoy it if we all were making the same thing.
I mean, the lecturers still support everyone anyways.
Yeah.
They're all very nice.
To me, the best thing about being a lecturer is helping a student find their voice and find what they want to do, and find the person that they are to tell that story.
Has it been different then? Because you just literally started like...
Yeah, so I started I'm in my third week.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been different. I mean, I probably can't quantify it just yet.
Yeah.
But it just, I feel at home here.
What's it like teaching? Like anything important that people need to realize when you're teaching a subject like film and stuff? Because it's quite, I would say arts is quite broad.
It's really interesting.
It's not a formula that you just...
No, and there's no one way to do anything, and we all do things differently. So I think it's a career of compromise, and it's a career of negotiation and working out where you fit and also you don't want to fit, and dropping all of those things. I think that it's about kind of building that critical thinking skill. Because getting feedback is really hard, which I don't know how you feel about that, but like showing your work and then getting feedback is very vulnerable.
Yep.
It feels very vulnerable. I love vulnerability. Like I think it's amazing, and I think we probably make our best work when we're being vulnerable, which is probably what you're feeling about your work. You say the darkness, but that is of being vulnerable, and that's probably what people are reading into it.
What's different when when you teach film and stuff? Of course, I think for me when I did my course, like it sounds really weird to say, like when we're doing practical work, there's a lot of basics like soft skills that you practice that you do great on, like how you manage a project and stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of like creativity, what's something that people don't realize it's difficult to comprehend when you're like teaching stuff like that? Cause
Well, I think that this is one of the reasons why I love the job so much
Yeah.
and love teaching film. Teaching film feels like, and the same with lecturing is like a
Yeah.
weird term, because really we're just providing you a safe space to try, fail.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? To experiment, to learn, to read further, to watch further. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, it's a very traditional kind of thing to look at a teacher and be like, you're just passing on knowledge, and then they take the knowledge, and then you go.
yeah,
So for me, I think film is very different, and do you know what I mean? There are some people who will need more technical support, and that's not me. Do you know what I mean? I know some stuff. For me, it's about kind of, just trying to help. Do you know what I mean? Help these people find who they are and what they want to write and how they can get to make stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, it's about employability, because that's also a thing, the other side of it.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things.
Yeah. But like we can provide you with the qualification, and we can provide you with like do you know what I mean, the things to put on your CV.
Yeah.
But actually, I think like you must know, it's the soft skills that I think are the skills you don't realise that you're necessarily learning as well along the way.
No, I think it sounds really bad to say, like sometimes being a teacher and stuff, you need to have the experience to tell people what not to do because you've done it before.
Yeah,
Like-
and also saying, offering advice and being like, this is how I do it.
Yeah.
And it's often the same when I'm reading someone's screenplay, and I go through it and I say like, I would do this, I would do this, I would do this, I would do this, and then I always like, sounds like I'm offering I don't know, like a way out for me,
Yeah.
but I say like, but it's your thing.
Yeah, 'cause it'll
you
be
need
different.
to pick and choose what you take from me
Yeah.
as like advice, or you discard. And I think feedback is a really interesting thing. Is that do you know what I mean? To someone who's not used to that might feel like they need to change all those things, and then it will be perfect. Perfect doesn't exist.
No.
And it's, do you know what I mean? Like, it's so like they could go to another lecturer and they would say, keep that, keep that, keep that.
Yeah.
You just need to kind of work out what feedback you want and what feedback is useful, and kind of being ready for feedback. And yeah, it's an interesting process.
Yeah, because it's sometimes not even like, it sounds really bad. I think someone told me before, like, especially in art, as long as you can kind of justify it in a certain strong selling
Yeah.
point, then it makes sense. And the feedback is like, you take it in, but you have to justify and kind of balance it out.
Yeah, and I was talking to a student even earlier today
Yeah.
about industry, and
Yeah.
like my industry experience is limited. So I mean, I've worked on my short films, and we do
Yeah.
things I know differently to maybe
Yeah.
how different things. So I was talking. So occasionally I get to first AD, and it's a role I like to do.
Yeah.
I have a way of first ADing
Yes.
that I have been shown through other people that I've watched first ADing.
Yeah.
Do I know that's industry standard? Probably not. There are grey areas like we're on about.
Yeah.
There are some things that some people might not consider a first AD job, but that on a short film you have to do. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And it's in short films, everything's quite like,
Yeah.
everyone does things differently.
There's a system in place for filmmaking, but I think it's about understanding the system and then understanding kind of where you lean and where you don't lean in.
And it's very different project to project by its
Yeah.
demands as well.
That's why the first day of a short film always feels very stressful and very like not okay almost, because you need a day to work out how everyone works together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Jockstrap was one day, so it was like...
Yeah, I know we didn't get much time in that at all. Luckily, I think, previous collaborators, do you know what I mean, working with Charlie, I always work with Charlie
Yeah,
as my director of photography, who I adore, and we are able to communicate now without actually saying much, which is great.
Yeah.
But then, like, the trust of knowing, like, bringing you on board and knowing that you've worked with some of those people before, and then...
I'm trying to think who I work with on Jockstrap. Jake, probably.
Yeah, but, like, I think even having one person...
Yeah, just one.
is kind of so lovely, and I think
Yeah.
that's kind of how it works. I mean, do you know what I mean? You get brought onto things as someone who knows someone.
Yeah.
and that's really nice because you have that familiar face on set, and you know how that person works, and that kind of soothes a little bit.
Yeah, the one thing I was getting used to Charlie is I forgot Charlie has like the hearing.
Yeah, so Charlie is deaf, so like you do have to make sure that you kind of speak clearly and often allow him the space to like lip read, and I think that is something that Charlie and I maybe struggled with at the start on King Henry, but now something that we're on board.
I struggled in like the first half of Jockstrap.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, we're in set, it's intimate.
Yeah.
I was like, after I whispered, I was like, wait, Charlie can't hear.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I forget.
Yeah, but and again, it's providing a safe space to be able to ask those questions and also mess up sometimes.
Yeah, because I don't see Charlie as like having anything. I always forget that Charlie's just like hesitating. I was like, oh yeah, now I have to do it. But it's fine.
But it's about kind of learning those things, and I think learning how people work together is part of the fun. Yeah,
and I did another project that I realized Charlie and Amber were on.
Yeah.
That I had no idea because I was all the way down in post. Because I'm not used to on-set. I'm still not really the on-set person, which is quite funny.
Yeah, it was really nice to have you on set though. I think it was really good.
But like obviously then, because now you're a lecturer and you're helping. Do you think like with your projects you want to try and bring students in?
Yeah, so it's always been always been the way since King Henry. Like on King Henry, I had students from when I used to teach at Exeter College who would come down to work on the film. They were supporting artists and they were runners for us. Limp had again ex-students on board and current students. Jockstrap was more ex-students. Oh, well, we did have a student from Exeter University actually that was with us.
Yeah. She's doing well now.
Yeah, she's doing great. I think it's always going to be the way, because I think what we hopefully do at Film Ancoth and what I'd like to do is provide, it is a learning space as well, and it is a safe space. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really care about everyone we bring on board, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it's like in real industry, but as a kid, like I knew I wanted to make films, but I knew I was so anxious so I wouldn't like to go into those spaces.
Yes.
So what I want to do is provide a space where we know that everyone is kind, and that we look after each other, and that we have fun. Because if we're not having fun, then we're like, what's the actual point?
Yeah. Because I think the one thing is, even if you go touch wood, you're not in the industry. Because sometimes people just don't want to, you don't.
Yeah.
Like, if you still want to make stuff, just keep making.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest thing is to keep doing.
Yeah, and I think, I guess the audacity sounds like a bad thing to say, but like me having the audacity to be like, I know I'm just going to make it. Yeah. And I think that's something I hope I never lose, and something that I really rate in people around me who, do you know what I mean, are all in.
Yes.
When these things crop up.
Yeah, of course. You want to have something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And you have all these.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just fun to make with people.
Yeah.
I mean, is that, and I guess you kind of talk about your feature, your short, your teaching. Anything else we should expect coming soon?
So I'm producing a short film called The Boy, which is shooting in January. So that's exciting. So that is by a collaborator, now friend, called A.I.R Lay, who wrote a short film in response to a call out from Bristol production van.
Okay.
Who were wanting to do something to fund trans stories. So she wrote something which is so not me, but like a creative challenge. It's kind of like a western-y kind of comedy thing. Yeah, which I absolutely love. And it's talking to A.I.R, it's so A.I.R, and which is something that really stood out to me. So she received that funding, which is amazing. So Bristol Production Van is supporting us, which is so good. I then went to Screen Cornwall and basically said like, would look for a producer. Screen Cornwall came to me and said like, could you help A.I.R find a producer? And then I had a meeting with A.I.R just to kind of get my head around it. And then by the end of that meeting, I was like, I want to do it. Like, I'll do it. I'll do it. Like, why not? Even though I said I wasn't going to make anything this year. And I've ended up doing Jockstrap and now The Boy.
It's okay, the boys next year.
Yeah, the boys technically next year. So yeah, that's been really interesting to do it as just a producer. The stuff I've done previously, I've done production bits, but this has been like, you are the producer, and I think I am going to be first AD on set. But that's lovely. Can't wait to do that.
Is it considered like a fictional or like drama?
It's fiction drama, but very much in response to the way that gender is being spoken about in this country.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm very, very excited for it, and I think visually it's different as well. So yeah, writing a couple of shorts, and yeah, the feature kind of fell out of me this year, and I knew that I wanted to have something kind of like under my belt developing. So yeah, the feature is again based in Cornwall, around being trying to work out who you are underneath the pressures of actually a Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's set between Christmas and New Year. So that's exciting to kind of having that kind of bubbling along at the same time. But other than that, just trying to get my feet under the desk at Falmouth and kind of understanding what it is to be a lecturer here rather than a student.
Does it feels like a different change, does it?
Weirdly, no.
No?
Yeah, like yes, but like I think the reason I love teaching and the reason I love higher education is that you never really lose what that feels like to be a student, because you are.
Because you're still always.
Yeah, you're still learning, and you're like, everyone is doing their own practice, everyone is doing their own research still. So it just feels like that, plus you're supporting students, which is amazing.
Yep. I mean, obviously, I'll tell you guys when it comes out, and I'm happy to link whatever you done below.
Thank you.
And any last parting words of?
No, just that, it's been so lovely to actually see your face again.
Yeah.
And catch up with you. I hope to be working on something again with you soon.
I'm excited for the boy. I know a lot of people who I know working on it. I'm sad I can't join it, but.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we can get you in post sometime.
Next time. Yeah, but thank you for staying tuned to season 2. Thanks so much, Harry.
Thank you
for joining. It's been a different one for me, this one.
Okay,
but
cool.
I really enjoy it.
Good.
And hopefully we'll see you guys next time. Bye.